So we made these beds here in between these trees. We're tree planted here, and to protect the trees quite a few years ago, about 3 years ago now, put this fence up around here. So we are going to swap it out and do a great job with it as well, just to make sure nothing can get in, because we are still getting things like kudu, porcupine, and smaller mammals getting in. So we just want to put a higher fence and fix around the sides. But we've planted things like potatoes, which they haven't gone for, basil, which they haven't gone for. We've still got a little bit of onions in that back row over there. That's the one I'm focusing on now. And then in between, we've now put basil and pumpkins, which are still on the way coming through. There's a pumpkin there, still coming through, and those seem to be doing fine. Of course, these beds actually were filled with garlic, and we harvested about 3 months ago now. And have since, like I said, planted and harvested onions, and now with a beautiful potato crop going in. With the mulch, when we plant, we just simply take the mulch off, let the plants get big, put the mulch back, and it does deteriorate in these walkways. We actually have to put more in the walkways to, then when it rains, it will start to compost itself, and you're putting on a nice mulching composting, already decaying layer that's already decaying into some compost, and not just dry grass which might start to absorb or lock up rather some of your nitrogen. So this is another bed. We pulled out most of our onions actually from here, planted at the same time as the garlic, similar times, and same story. Planting now, grass goes on, grass goes off. We didn't use a mulch layer with the onions. Oh, there's one of our little pumpkins that's in a random spot. And here we are. 3 months of very, very hard work. We harvested our own gum poles from the river. We even have put some old metal sheeting down about 1/2 meter, maybe just a little bit more. And then all this wood that I harvested for free with these holes in that we really truly didn't know what we were going to do. That was 2 full bucky loads. And I brought it all to the farm, and it found its purpose because it's made its way mostly around. We are still putting shade cloths around the side. We've planted things like rice. We don't want to have issues with birds. And then on the front here, we're still going to put a second layer of chicken wire. But of course, this is probably just enough already for the baboons, but we want to be extra safe. So you can see things are beautifully wet over here. I'm quickly just going to go over to the rain gauge to see what sort of rain we had. So in a matter of about, I'd say 40 minutes, we had 29 mils. Very happy with that because it's been actually rather dry here recently. Of course, that's what led to our fires. Okay, so we're back here. Right now only one doorway, but we will have another doorway at the other end. So some liquid fertilizer we have going, and of course we've just got piles and piles and piles of compost everywhere. So that's our makeshift little lock for now. I think I'm going to put the camera down for this one because the string is quite tricky. We will of course actually do a proper job and have a nice leave over here. Okay, so of course we've put in our corn, and these corns were planted about 3-4 weeks ago now. I have to check the diary, probably about 4 weeks now. And no, they were planted 3 weeks ago definitely, and we've already come and put beans in between. Not seeing any shooting, but we only did it on Saturday and Sunday, which was about 4 days ago from today being Tuesday. So this is our beautiful corn crop. These are our pollinator beds. So this was the first one planted. I mean, we have lavender, rosemary, thyme, obviously these salvia hot lips, and then a flower that's even coming up. I think that one's called lion's eye, but I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to check. So yeah, like I said, this is our corn, and then this is our first grow of rice. I don't know what opted us to go for this way of planting. We did quite a bit of research before planting while we were making the beds, etc. Just to see, and this is what I came across from somebody planting in South Africa, the only true study I wrote of grass growing in South Africa. So basically about 6 to 8 seeds in a little pockets in the ground with nice compost and manure, and we've already done a liquid fertilizer here twice on them. The corn only once, but they were looking like quite yellowy and hungry. But we did a second liquid fertilizer yesterday, so we'll see. Like here's an example of some of that rice. It's a little bit on the yellow side, so obviously wanting urea, which of course naturally from humans, which we're not using on a source on this farm. It is a good source, would be urine. It's also nitrogen, so we're using a nice chicken ferment that we make, compost chicken ferment, which is our liquid fertilizer there, which has also got some FPJ, fermented fruit juice, and also some of the calcium from eggshells that we soak in vinegar. This beautiful middle section, which if you can make out as a lovely hexagon, bring the energies of 3, 6 and 9 into the garden. The garden is 36 meters by 36 meters. Our beds are 1.2 meters wide, etc. So just trying to add to that energy. What we're going to do in this area is also going to be a nice pollinating bed. We've already started putting herbs and things, even a pawpaw tree down there. But this will be a similar kind of garden, should I say, rather, with a nice big bench in the middle, and maybe even a mango tree over the head of that bench that's controlled nicely and not allowed to get too out of control, the mango tree that is, and maybe a few other smaller trees things like bay leaves and that. So we've left this bed. It's the only bed that's not planted in the whole garden. We're going to see what else we want to put in here. But basically from here, this whole corner is corn. We're going to come in and then obviously polyculture with the beans, help with the nitrogen fixing at the right time. And then from this corner also we basically have all corn. We only did another 4 beds of rice. So the idea is now that we've done planting, we really have just been doing this in, there hasn't been much time, but we're going to come in, we have started already on this side, and start that lovely process of just using the cut grass, not putting this in the mulcher, saving energy, just using it as is, and it's going in between, and it's already so much lovelier to walk on this, not working in the mud, helping keep the pathways moisturized, and so too the beds. And of course, we're going to see about what we're going to polyculture with the rice. We're going to try probably beans as well, bush bean that being. Looking beautiful in here, and I think I'll have to do another update in a month's time because it all won't look like this on that side. Look something more like this, which will be beautiful. So we here at our first corn grow. We made this garden end of last year, November last year. It was completed and we planted corn. So this is basically where we got our practice for that garden, that we're just coming from there. Of course, more compost, more liquid fertilizer, and in we go. So not quite the door on the other side. We are going to make one of those here very soon. This is a lot closer to the house though, so not too worried about bigger animals getting in here. So this is what that garden's going to look like truly next year this time, once we plant the second corn in there. It's going to be much more of a poly grow. We had some huge winds come in yesterday, so I've just noticed now there's some corn that's a bit fallen over. So what we're going to do with that is we're just going to push it back up, and once it's pushed back up we can then put some more soil here. It's a bit more difficult with one hand to do, but we'll come around and just heal these up, the ones that have been pushed over. But some beautiful big ones in here. And this is a good meter taller than me. Nice big leaves, and starting to get some quite big ears forming here. So of course not nearly ready for picking. Ears are still soft and green, but possibly in the next 3 weeks we'll start to be picking corn in here. So why I say it's going to look more like this next year in the garden we've just come from, because of course we still have things from winter like kale that's coming along. So possibly a bit of a hindrance, the kale. Learn from this season. What we'll do is we'll spread the kale out more, put things like beetroots and radishes and faster growing things in between the kale, and then when those radishes grow out, we will come and then put the corn in, or maybe a smaller crop before then if need be, maybe beans, just to prep the soil with some nitrogen. But as you can see, this corn here, although those tall ones that I've just come from there were planted first, these small ones were planted the same, as you can see here, these, and they're already also getting quite big and tall. So we had this place full of corn last year, so we're not going to quite get the yield. We got about 80 kgs worth of corn plus minus. We kept about 10 kg of seed, which we've basically finished. Thank goodness we kept so much. We sold about 30 kg of seed, and we also sold, of course, fresh corn. But we're obviously going to yield a lot more this year on the other side. So looking beautiful in here. Lovely ears developing, but quite a few that have fallen over from those tall winds and strong rain yesterday. So definitely time to come and heal this corn here. Still even got some old carrots that we're letting go to seed here. And then this side we just get a bit too much shade, so we didn't put corn here, and we haven't put corn here again this year. We reserve it for things like a bit of a polyculture garden, but lots of peppers, a little bit of basil, more basil. We've got some cauliflowers still coming and seeding from winter time, small dwarf cherry peppers, and then we also have our pork tray, which is just self-seeded, and we had a beautiful grove of cucumbers up this wall last year, so really looking forward to that. So yeah, we've got many other smaller gardens, or several other rather, but I just wanted to show you our big garden and where the practice for making that big garden came from the previous year.